Hey everybody, in this video I'm going to show you how exactly I carved this tree in yellow cedar and the exact bits that I'm using with Dremel flex shaft. So trees grow in all different shapes and sizes, as you guys know, and all the different thousand types of trees, and you got a cedar tree and all the different types of trees. That's like all the different types of cedar trees or different types of pine trees. So this is a piece of yellow cedar I'm going to carve in this video today. I'm not going to spend that long filming, but I'm going to show you guys. There's different ways to carve your patterns on your trees. You know, this one would be perfect. Like I blocked this out with my chainsaw. This is this is yellow cedar, very tight grain. I blocked it out with my chainsaw. You know, I could have carved this with my chainsaw. And I said, but nah, I'm gonna leave it for Dremel carving. And you don't have to have like a thick one like this. You could use a fence board, right? So it doesn't have to be fully round like that, like my fence board Christmas trees that I do. This one would have been just nice to go like I do with my chainsaw. This one I carved for YouTube. This is old Western red cedar, and I just put little cuts in it, and I carved this really quick actually to make it look like a windy day. This is the same cedar that this was. This has some oil on it. And I'll carve this one another day. But this one I want to show everybody how easy it is. You know, get your fence board or your 2x6 or your 2x10 or whatever kind of wood you got. And just if you don't have a bandsaw, if you don't have a jigsaw is really good to have to cut out your shape. You know, anybody can use a jigsaw. They're fairly safe to use, and you can get them fairly cheap too. So you can cut out your shape with the jigsaw. So I think I'm gonna carve this one, and later on I'm gonna make like a little platform out of a piece of wood, put some moss on there, maybe some little mushrooms, and maybe like a little even gnome around it or something. But anyways, let's just concentrate on carving this one today. And I'm using this cheap. I just made a video reviewing it, this high spec. It's hooked up to a foot pedal. It's got speed control, but I'm going to use the foot pedal. Does work for speed control with this, but the foot pedal I'm using is on off. And here's what I'm going to start cutting with. This is one of those cheap 3-point cutters. Okay, so it's brand new. These things get dull fast, but you can buy these burrs on Amazon. These are dangerous, so you don't want to get hit with these. They're sharp when you first get them, that's for sure. So, but let's draw on the pattern. All right, so this is how I started doing my chainsaw carved trees. I think when I did when I first started doing the chainsaw carving trees, I did the full round logs. But I think you can start this off like this, just with something like that right up there. And you do it like, this piece is pretty hard and awkward for me to show on YouTube. Now you just kind of do it like fish scales. I probably will cut these up there like fish scales. But this yellow cedar is for power carving. It's kind of chippy. Especially with that bit that I'm going to use. So you just do these things. Nothing's uniform. Nothing's perfect. You just draw them on. You don't even have to draw them on. Like if I wasn't doing this video, I probably wouldn't even draw them on. I'd just probably carve them on. The thing is, you want to make them bigger when you go down. Yeah, I'm going to put these. I'm going to start. Let's see here. I just don't want this top to break off. We'll put another couple ones in there. It'll be a little funny up top here, but and you just make them bigger as they come down. This is a lot of carving, but you know, like anything goes, the more effort you put into anything, the more of a reward you're going to get, I believe. Now I'll probably share this video on both my channels. I have a wood carving / art channel. I just did a painting for it. It didn't turn out that great. It was kind of like one of my style eagles. I'll leave a link to the channel below. It's called, what is it called? The eagle, I called it Flight of the Spirit of the Flight, the painting I did. I did it with watercolor pens on acrylic. So, but I got to start focusing on my other channel too, because I do want to get into more art stuff besides just wood carving. Because, well, I'm getting older and the wood carving is dusty. So we might as well, I'll just keep drawing these on and I'll be back. And it's dusty and my sinuses are always plugged up, even if I wear a dust mask. All right, so there we go. Now, why I decided I'm going to use this piece, even though it's going to chip out, you're going to see this wood chip out. I'm not going to film that much carving, but I can get a good undercut underneath one of these big ones. Like, get under there to get some shadows to make it look like this one. And if it actually chips out, it's okay, because it will make these things not seem so round. I don't want these to look so round when I'm done this carving. So I'll start. I don't know if I'm going to film doing these little ones. It's kind of useless, but I'll film doing some of this stuff down here. So you'll see me probably do a cut. Another thing too, to get the undercuts when you're doing the cut, I'm not just going to cut straight in. I'm going to hold my flex shaft down flat and get underneath that. We'll call this a branch. Get underneath that branch when I'm cutting it too, right? And then I might do another cut to smooth it out, because then later I have to come and put some branch lines in there. But I will be wearing my dust mask 100%. I don't know. This was a brand new bit, but it's a piece of shit. I'm going to try switching it out. Okay, here's another bit. I burnt these and dipped them in oil to try and harden them, but I don't know if this one, I don't know if I've used it or not. So we'll try this one. Yeah, it cuts way better. Now you can see I'm losing direction. You can see I'm losing direction off my lines, but it's okay because I still see my lines for reference if I want to start making them bigger or just like the direction it's going in. This bit's so aggressive it's starting to pull out of the flex shaft. So since I'm basing this video on the very beginning not wood spirit, very beginning Dremel carvers, these bits are not easy to use. They're like using a chisel that spins at, I don't know, 35,000 RPMs, whatever the machine will spin at. They work good for start cuts, like knife carving, start and stop cuts. But they're hard, even though this yellow cedar is such tight grain. If you sand this yellow cedar really nice, it looks like ivory, and you don't even really see the grain. But this yellow cedar is a lot harder than the Western red cedar that I'm normally used to using. But to remove the wood, because I gotta carve this, like pretend these are fish scales or dragon scales or whatever, flower petals. You got your start cut in there, but then I gotta remove all this wood right in here to make it look like it's coming out from underneath these two petals. I want this petal to look like it's running underneath those two petals. I'll keep on using this a little bit, and I'll try and, when I'm using this, I just go super fast and crazy. You guys can see this is not the most friendliest, safest burr to use for the very beginners. I suggest, if you're going to do something like that, get yourself one of these cut saw extreme taper burrs. Then you can get in there nice. This one cuts a lot nicer, but these things are a lot beginner friendly for the beginner Dremel carvers. This is a cut saw taper burr extreme. See how spiky it is? They come less aggressive. They come the most extreme one with the biggest spikes is black, and it goes silver, and then gold is like carving with a sander. So I'm going to keep on trying it with this one. Then I might switch over to this. And you guys can see this one that I was first using. This one, it was brand spanking new. And even you could see how it was burning the wood up here. So it just depends who makes these things. But this one is completely garbage to me. I won't even use this for softer wood. Now I'll keep my microphone on for a few minutes. And I'll just do a few of these big ones so you guys can see easier. So you can see this one here. Also, my patterns, look how I went off my patterns, but I just used them for reference. Now, I'll make it look like this one right here. I'll make it look like it's tucked underneath these two petals. And I'll really slow down. Now another one. Now see how this bit's sliding out of this handpiece? It's sliding out because these things are made in China, these bits. And sometimes, well, they're not truthfully 1/8. They're supposed to be 1/8 to fit inside these collets in here, but sometimes they aren't. So it's a good chance I'm going to switch over to the cut saw and take my time a bit more. For these trees, you want to get really under there. See how deep I went there? And feather it out. When you're using these burrs, you have to have, well, I'm not going to say I have the most experience, but you have to have a lot of experience with the handpiece to be able to control it. See? Well, that's the first time my finger actually got hit. Luckily, it didn't cut it. I'm switching over to the cut saw extreme flame bit. Screw it. Okay, so here's the cut saw. Now, just take your time and have a good time. Way more control with this. I know I'm jumping all over the map, but that's kind of how I carve. Okay, so let's do one here. Let's do this one. Okay, so you guys can see my point. Like, look how deep I'm going underneath there. Go deeper. Carve it deeper, because when you're doing, see how deep I went? When you're doing these lines here, hopefully some of those tips right here will break off and make it look not so uniform. All right, so I think you guys get my point by now. Carry on. I'm going to put my dust mask on, finish all this. I might not do these textures yet like I just did there, but I'll be back. I'd just like to clarify, everything I say on this channel is my opinion, and I'm entitled to my opinion because, well, it's my channel. So the deeper that you cut underneath, this would be called an undercut, cutting underneath of these, like I said, flower petals, but I'm talking about trees right now, not flower petals. The deeper that you cut underneath there, and the thinner that you undercut underneath, say, we'll call this the branch again, the thinner that you make this tip of this branch by the undercut, that's how you'll get the blowouts right like that. So it gives your tree more effect, right? So it's not just round with these lines coming down. Things will break off, you cut through it, and then you'll get little things like that. Now also I suggest to do, when you're carving on the side of the tree, right, so deep undercuts everywhere, don't be afraid to go back. When I was trying to clean up the pen marks, I just went back and I cut each one a little bit deeper. At the side of the tree, you want to give it some movement, so cut deeper on the side too to make these branches. It just gives it more movement. Like, see how much I did that one? How this branch is sticking off more? You know, basically your trees is, when you do your block out with my chainsaw, that's the main definition how your tree's going to turn out, is by the main shape of it. And I suggest, like, don't just do them straight. Well, if you want to do them straight, you can, but I always like mine to go like this on either side. I had, on my video I showed, I had to go back and cut this one so it's more sloped that way. So anyways, I think I might try and get this going, this dangerous cutter. Another thing too, I hit my little pinky. I've never done that. That's the first time for everything. But I'm lucky I didn't gouge it open. Luckily, this thing was starting to get a little bit duller. But so just be careful when you're using this. I might try and use this because you might get some sharper cuts in here using this one. I might pull out a brand new one. Try that. And it's got the point on it like that. So you get really deep under there and come out. That's another thing good for the, slow down, Jordy. That's another good thing for the undercuts is because you can get underneath that branch and carry it out. See, it doesn't look like, if you didn't do a deep undercut there, you'd do a little start here and you would see where you started. Or it would also, if you didn't do the undercuts, it would also look like this bit is riding up on top of that branch and coming down. So the undercuts are, once you start doing more undercuts in your wood carving when needed, I really believe that your wood carving game will get a lot better. And by doing deeper undercuts on these, like look how deep I went under there. It's basically called carving deeper. So the more that you carve deeper and challenge yourself on your carvings, the more shadows you'll get to pop off and the better of a carver you'll become. But again, be very careful with these bits here. These ones. Anyways. All right, so you guys can see I did this when I had the extreme flame burr, this one. Let's try this one underneath it with this 3-point cutter. Ignite the dust collector fan. Yeah, I think I like this one a little bit more. It's got sharper edges. Oh. See how easy this one will jump? And also, don't forget, sorry, slow down, Jordy. Fuck. You can cross your lines too, so. Give them some squiggly patterns. You'll see me keep going underneath, giving them some undercuts. And definitely don't feel like you have to carve as fast as I do. Right, so see that? See how everything broke off there? Go back, give it some more undercut. Hit the ones underneath again. It's a tree. You don't want everything to look like calculated and placed perfectly. Like, you know, fish scales kind of are like that. But so there you go. There's that. So I'll get this done. All right. So what do we got here? Now, when I was carving this, I thought, because I've carved a tree like this before many years back. Well, not many, but I haven't been carving for that. Maybe 8 years, maybe 5 years back. And it looked kind of like a clamshell tree with everything so round. So I thought maybe like this is the way I normally do it on. I thought maybe if you want to draw them on like diamond shapes like that, you might it might not be such a, like, I don't know, it's hard to explain, but like a clamshell or a coconut shell tree. But so when I was carving up here, I said, well, I better use a smaller bit, smaller branches, so I better use a smaller bit. So here's the smaller bit that I used. But if you look, I'll show you here. When I was using this smaller bit, it broke. So when you're doing this Dremel carving, make sure you have I wear glasses, but make sure you have safety glasses on, because this thing broke and this thing went ping, took off. So just be very careful with any carving bit. But this broke off because they make these ones so friggin' long. It sticks out quite far from your Dremel. But when it broke, I just put this back in and kept using it. So I think I went back over and cut some deeper parts in here so it doesn't look so round, most of them. And like I said, nothing needs, see, that kind of has a clamshell effect or a coconut shell effect. Just everything's kind of round and formulated. Here a little bit, I could carve deeper under there and break that up a bit more, but it's okay. It's good enough. I want to take a second here and talk about a very supportive YouTube subscriber, James Rankin. Now, I don't know if you guys read the comments, but James comments on all my videos. He spends the time and writes long things out. He's kind of a crazy guy like I am. And, well, he sent me a couple Christmas cards this year. This one they're special cards. I mean, he sent me a little note, but I'm not going to read it. Stay warm, Jordy, James. Now, these are the special Christmas cards. They're not, they're cards. I don't think they're that cheap, but they're Papyrus. And I do have a little thing what the cards are about and how they're made if you want to take a screenshot of that. But James wrote, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. If you want to take a screenshot of this. Now here's the card one of the cards he sent me. It was pretty cute. It's a little vest, and I'm not going to lie, he tucked some couple bucks in here to get me get me a couple dinners. So thanks for that, James. I appreciate it. So this will sit on my coffee table downstairs. Here's to a great and fun adventure. Happy birthday. Oh, he sent me an early birthday present. Thanks, James. And there's this card here too. Now this one has like a cheese grater on it. And it was so grateful that I found Jordy Johnson. Thanks, James. That means a lot. I'm truly grateful that I know you're Mr. Johnson. I'm truly grateful that I know you, Mr. Johnson. You're good stuff. James. There's his initials. Thanks, James. And this is another one of those cards too. And it's got like a metal cheese grater on here. A couple buddies stopped by the other day and like, buddy, what's with the cheese grater on the card? I'm like, I don't know, man. I say cheesy shit on YouTube all the time, so maybe that's why he sent me the metal cheese grater thing. I don't care. It's awesome. Now, it came with this little hummingbird sticker. He sent me this sticker before. See it there? And I put it on my computer tower, but I'm going to put this little hummingbird sticker on one of my chainsaws so you can see it, James. Or maybe I'll even put it on the backdrop here. But yeah, thanks. So I want to tell a quick story about James. So I bugged him to send me some pictures of some of his carvings. Now, James doesn't have a chainsaw or a die grinder. All he's got is like a Dremel or a Wen rotary tool. And he's got he carves outside. Man, there's a friggin' tree stump in. I don't care if you're going to get mad at me for showing this, James, but he's got a tree stump in his backyard. He carved it with just a Sawzall. You guys know what Sawzall? It's like a tool you hold in your hand and the blade goes like this. He carved it just with the Sawzall and friggin' his Dremel tools. He doesn't have a die grinder. He doesn't have a chainsaw. So I'm going to show the pictures. You guys will be like, holy, this guy is friggin' the craziest. James probably the craziest person that I know out of wood carving, because to carve that with I would have wrecked 20 Dremels by the time I was done carving that. But yeah, he did some nice red cardinals too. He sent me a nice wood spirit smoking a cigar a couple of years back. I still got that too. And James, you're crazy man. But thank you so much for all the support as the years have gone by. And you're a true online friend. I used to bug my son for having online friends, but now I kind of get that's the way the world's going. But yeah, I'll put this sticker somewhere on my chainsaw or something so you can recognize it whenever I'm carving. But stay cheesy, everybody. Yep, be that cheese, be that grinder. I mean, cheese shredder. Be that cheese shredder. You want to be the cheese or do you want to be the cheese shredder? You can be either which one you want to be. I don't know. I'll be both. I like this. This is blue cheese here. I don't know what this kind of cheese is. I'm still exploring new types of cheeses and stuff like that. So Stay cheesy. And there you go, James. I got it up there, so you know it's you. You know, I used to do the sticker things, make carving fusion stickers, and have stickers of people's carvings on my wall, stuff like that. I think I'm really basically the one that started that with the Dremel wood carving. But I move on, carry on, and that's just kind of old school stuff to me. So, but there you go, James. That's for you. Every one of my Dremel videos, you'll see it up there. You know it's you, and you don't have to show that it's your name to try and promote yourself. Not that that sticker thing's is bad, but it's just I'm kind of growing out of it. No, my favorite sticker, I have one here. It's from Tim. He's like, what his thing is his channel's Grumpy's carvings or something. Let me see here. Well, it's just him, kind of like it's kind of like an old Cabbage Patch sticker. He's got like a doobie hanging over his mouth, and he just looks like a grumpy guy. What's this, Grumpy Carvings? Standby. Oh yeah, okay. It's Grumpy Laid Back Carvings. If you guys want to head over to Tim's channel, yeah, it's a funny sticker. It's my favorite one, but it's not back there. It's over on my other wall here. Anyways, enough of me babbling. You guys don't come here to listen to me talk. You come here to learn about carving, maybe. So what do you want to? This trunk is a little bit, well, it's a little bit straight for me. I kind of like my trunks to kind of go more like fade out, but that's all right. Now, how do you want to carve this trunk? When I'm chainsaw carving, I just get my bar and do things like that. That's about good enough. But we can give this one shape like, if you look at this one here that I carved, it's got shape like they call this on the real stump, cedar stumps, I think they call them elephant's feet. You get the bark inclusions there and stuff. So we'll try and do that. I don't need to draw this on, but I'm just going to draw it on anyways. I think basically the more shape that you give it, you've already got enough time in this. Well, yeah, see, kind of clamshell effect there. That's all right. You guys understand my point, but I'm not going to change it. So I think we'll kind of hollow it out down here, and then we'll make this part round. I don't know. I got my Dremel Extreme Flame, Cutsall Extreme Flame Burr on here. I'm just going to cut it in there and make everything round. Stand by. Put some good depth in there, kind of round it off. Okay, so you guys will see what I got going on here. And I'll finish this up. So here's what I got on the bottom of the tree, just some quick carving. This yellow cedar actually carves nice and soft this time. That's the tree trunk. Now, I thought, since I don't know how long this video is going to be, some of you are going to still be here. This is a sanding mandrel. You buy these on Amazon. I think you get like 10 of them for like $8. It was. I'll try to find the link for these, and I'll put it below the video or in the comments. This knockoff Dremel's working really good. I carved that whole yellow cedar tree with it, no problem. Didn't even heat up or nothing. It's having more problems with my flex shaft than anything. So this is the sanding mandrel, and you can see it comes with a big fat screw head. And it also comes with a base, like a washer thing too. So these are perfect. The only thing with these, the screws are a little bit small, like short, so you can't use that much sandpaper. But less sandpaper is probably better for less friction. Now this is Klingspor sandpaper. I buy this stuff in the roll. If you're in Canada, we have KMS Tools. I buy these rolls at KMS Tools in Canada. I use 80 grit and 100 grit for this. And you can see this stuff's not like the big, huge belt sanders that you cut up for chainsaw carving. This stuff is thinner. I mean, softer. I think this is 1.5 inches or 2 inches or something, but I don't have my tape measure up here. So all I do is just rip off some pieces. I usually do 4. Maybe we'll do 5. So I get the pieces that I ripped up. And this, you can see that this stuff has a cloth backing to it. Just the paper stuff doesn't last that long. So I just kind of line them up so they're all kind of centered to each other. Now I got a screwdriver here. Where is it? Oh, and now I can't freaking find it. Oh boy. Anyways, let's use this square head. So you guys can get a piece of wood, or you can do them individually, but I don't like to waste time, so I just kind of put that screwdriver on there and use my hand, the hammer. It goes through all of them. Pull it out. Then here's the nut. Put it through the nut. Oh, that's perfect size hole. So I put 3 or 4 forward. I put, yeah, this one holds 4 pieces. This nut. I mean screw. So I put 3 forward. I kind of just spin them so they're like that, and I put 1 backwards. Get it on there. Okay. So there's that. Just like this. That's how I make my sanding manuals. I put the screw on the screw thing on the shaft and screw it up. So I'm going to quickly go over this. Well, that's not screwed up that good right now because the sandpaper's getting in the way. I'll put this in lock this in my Dremel first, my flex shaft. Then I can screw it up because your collet will lock this in place. And you can, oops, then you can screw it up. And then I'm just going to do some real light sanding on this tree. Not much sanding at all right now. All right, so here we go. And turn your Dremels down when you do this, because I'm telling you right now, you will fry your Dremel if you do not turn it down and you do this too long. Just like that. I'm just going to give it a light hit before I burn it. Got to turn it up a bit more. You know, I guess you could have made this into a mushroom too. So here's my little butane lighter. You know, it's got the bottom there. It's like the little old butane lighters. You can put the butane into the bottom. So and I'll just give this a quick burn. I don't want to burn it too much, but I do burn the bottom more, the trunk more, to give it a different text, like a different darkness than the tree itself. So this yellow cedar burns pretty good too. So you guys can see that. I don't need to film burning all this. I did carve a little bit of textures on the bottom because Ryan Cook pointed out to me for chainsaw carving, if you do the smaller trees, some people want to put them up on top of a fireplace mantle and they'll be looking at the bottoms. So they'll be looking up and under. They'll see there. So you kind of want to do something about that. I just did it quick. I'll burn this bottom deeper. And also, you know, I got a pretty big fan at my window pushing all the air out. So don't catch your house on fire. I don't want to be responsible for that. Probably do this burning outside. If I had my bigger torch here, my little propane torch, I'd probably be using that. It would speed this up a lot quicker. These are really little handy torches to have because look how fine that tip is, that blue part. So you can get into the deeper areas easier. I'm going to show you guys, I can really hear this wood cracking when I'm burning it, so you got to be careful too. See if you guys can hear it crack. Now of course it stops cracking. Maybe I'll try and catch it on camera. I'll just sit here holding my thing and anyways. I don't have my microphone plugged in, but you'll see here like I'll do some burning up underneath where I did the undercuts, and then once in a while I'll burn down here. So let's see here. So just burn that and then burn up there once. Just to give it some different movements and stuff. Burn down there. Burn down here. And when you get the hot coals like this, because what's happening is your sharp point, you're losing your sharp points, right? So just lick your finger and or whatever you want to do. I don't know. All right, now I'll sand it again. Even for your very first wood carving, don't forget to sign your pieces. There's the initial and Jordy Johnson. So here's what we got. Hold on. So it's always good to sit back, look at your piece. You know, sometimes when I'm done a piece, I'll look at it and I love it, and I show up the next day and look at it. I'm like, well, that thing's a piece of crap. Ask yourself, did you like carving this yellow cedar? Yes, I like carving this yellow cedar, so I'll try and get some more. Well, I got more of it at my tent. That's little block offs of some pieces that I did. I'll bring back and Dremel carve. So I liked it. Yeah. Do you like the tree? Do you like the shape of the tree? Well, it's not my favorite. I don't hate it, but it's not my favorite. I like these shapes better, kind of where it's blowing over with the wind. I really like this tree. I'm surprised I didn't carve this one today. I love this shape. This could also be like a fantasy little mushroom too. So is it my favorite tree? No, it's not my favorite tree, but does it look like a tree? Yeah, I think it does. It looks kind of like a fantasy tree thing. These lines kind of look straight across here. If you look, I'm allowed to point out parts of the tree that I don't like because, well, it's my art, it's my carving. You guys can point out your stuff. So if you don't like the way those kind of look straight across there, well, fix it. I'm not going to fix it. No, I'm done with this. You know, like I said, you can carve a little fairy door in here, but I probably will use this later on. Get a little cedar base, put some moss on there, maybe put a couple little mushrooms, maybe even a little gnome. Hope some of you have learned something from this video, and everybody's doing good. And thanks again for the awesome Christmas cards, James. And man, you get yourself a freaking chainsaw and a die grinder. You got it. You got to do it, man. You're just killing yourself with using that sawzall to carve, man. Anyways, thanks everybody. Carve Infusion, over and out. Shit pants. Sorry, one more thing, everybody. Don't forget you can paint your trees too. That's always fun. If you don't like it, paint it. Because then it will look more like a tree. Paint it green and brown down here or whatever color trees you got in your neighborhood. I see that square branch there too. That bugs me. It's simple. If it bugs you, fix it. It ain't going to fix itself.